So we're starting today talking about
Okay.
what's your favorite part? Oh,
So anyway,
here we
guys.
are, we're live.
Now we are. They just missed the best part.
I know.
Okay. All right. I think we are live.
Working today. Woohoo! Taco Tuesday.
All right.
Taco.
Welcome everybody to at least I think we're live.
It says we're
Making
live.
sure. Yeah, it says we're live. Okay. Welcome everybody to Taco Tuesday. And this is an explosive episode we got here today. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the hoster of gigantic insurance conferences, and the Grant Cardone of the insurance industry. We got Cody Askins here with us today. Dude, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Dude, thank you guys, man. I've been following Clint and everything he's been doing for the industry for years. You know, I think he's older than me, so a long time. And then Brindle, came out of, I think you just came out of diapers and you started doing some big stuff, So
Yeah.
Well,
I think sometimes he still does diapers.
Ah,
When we're doing those cocktail parties on the weekends, he just pulls the
That's
diapers back out.
yeah, I mean, well, when I'm trying to keep up with Tony on the, on the shots and everything,
Tony,
sometimes you feel like you need diapers.
dude, Tony is awesome, buddy. I freaking love that guy.
Dude,
and
Tony's he's the best.
and likewise to you, Cody. I've been following your stuff for a long time. Just awesome content that you're putting out there, and and the quantity of not only is it good content, but you put so much out there, especially your YouTube channel. You guys, if you haven't already checked out Cody's YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. I believe it's under your name, Cody Askins.
That's it.
Cody Askins. So look him up, YouTube.
And the last name Askins, it's Ask INS. Ask.
Oh, you were born for this. I see that you were born for this. I didn't even realize this.
But the main question is, I think the most important question we can ask you today is, do you have tacos?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Dude, I'm a freaking lover of Mexican food and a big fan of Taco Tuesday. So you're like, hey, you want to come on Facebook Live Taco Tuesday in a group with freaking, your group's exploding, 1,200 members. I'm like, dude, I'm like, I'm in. Have you ever seen LeBron does like these like little videos?
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday. It's hilarious.
Yes, we've talked about him many times on here.
Oh, so
Glenn, didn't he trademark it or something?
I think he tried to actually coin the phrase Taco Tuesday. I don't think he was allowed to, but I think he actually tried to legally coin it like it was his phrase.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's the intro for this from now on is LeBron.
It should be. Taco. That would be awesome.
So Cody, first question I got for you today. So usually these get, depending on the group we're in, but if we're in our group, it's probably about 200 to 300 views. This one will probably get more because you are who you are.
Hey, we didn't get a clear answer on that really fast, Christian. Is there tacos or is there not tacos?
I've got tacos. I don't know.
I have tacos.
Shut up. No, you don't.
Of course. What are you saying? Every time, man. That's what this is all about.
I kind of went slumming it today. Nothing fancy.
Chicken tacos. Look at that. Look at that, man. Come on.
Dang, dude. Hey, give me some tacos.
So when we had Tony on, Tony shows up with these like beautiful handmade, homemade tacos, and like they looked like they were something out of like a 5-star restaurant or something. It was sick.
That's so
Lots of wine. He was probably the classiest, I'd say, so far.
Galen was pretty classy too, though, with like
margarita,
and whatnot.
Who was that?
Galen
Roberts.
Wow. See, you know what? I'm like, I don't have a sombrero. I don't have wine. I don't have freaking tacos. I don't, there's no piñata or Spanish music. Like, we do have an in-house translator. So, maybe I need to get her.
Hey, there you go.
That'll work. Yeah. We haven't had that happen yet.
Yeah.
Someone come on and translate. Well, Cody, first question I had for you, and then Glenn, I'll let you go. But talk to us about 8%. 8% is weeks away, right?
Yeah. 17 days.
So what do you guys anticipate in terms of like the turnout? Is it going to be a regular size turnout that you guys are accustomed to, or is it going to be more people watching from home? What are you guys expecting with 8%?
Yeah, so that's It's a really good question. And right now, still up in the air. However, 8% is like my baby, right? I don't have any kids, but I got 8% in the conference. And I know you guys got kids, so I'm a big fan of my mission is to help every insurance agent in the world. I've been to Cardone's events. I go to 10X every year. Like, events have changed my life. And I'm not just saying that because I put on one, they really have. And getting around big time people, doing stuff like this, networking, I'm a huge fan, and learning from big time people. I've hired a bajillion coaches. Anytime someone knows something I don't, I give them money to teach me. Like, it's helped me,
For sure.
progress my career. And so I'm a big believer in it. Number one, we actually had more tickets sold this year than any year before, which is surprising. However, we did have a decent amount fall off with the changing of Vegas to Dallas and July to September. And I get it,
Sure.
don't shoot the messenger. I'm trying to do what's best. And we were up 700 to 800 ish at one point earlier this year. I think we're at like 551 now as of this morning. A few more fell off. And we're expecting about 400 probably. We'll see.
Well,
Decent percentage doesn't show typically, but dude, I still write down every day though. 8% Nation will have 10,000 agents one day. Like, I still write it down every morning. Like, I write down my goals. That's a goal, and I'm going to make sure that happens one day.
yeah, I believe, so really fast while we're on the topic, I actually got solicited this week. Someone came to me asking for tickets. They said, Glenn, it's sold out. I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what this person told me. They said, it's sold out. I'm trying to get tickets. Do you have tickets? Because I was like, and again, also speaking of babies, I just had a baby. So unfortunately, I will not be able to attend. But thanks, Cody. And next time I would love to be there and love to be involved and potentially, speaking or doing something else too. I would love that. So definitely hit me up. But yeah, I thought that was a really good sign. I was like, that's crazy with everything going on, and he sold out tickets this year. So hats off to you, sir. And yeah, anyone else looking to go, good luck. You might have to find a scalper.
Yeah. And part of it is because they've reduced capacity due to COVID. So technically we're sold out months ago. Once everything happened and they released capacity, it is first come, first serve on seats as far as sections this year. We don't have assigned seats because I'm a little concerned that a few people may have to stand out in the hallway, or they may have to stand backstage with me. I don't know. But it is definitely oversold. So yeah, we're still selling a few seats up front, Diamond Fire, but yeah, it's a fun event. I can tell you that I know you guys can't make it. However, I have a couple tricks up my sleeve that will surprise people that we've never had before, that all I got to say is, and since we're private in a Facebook group, I can say this right now. You do not want to miss the start of each day. Yeah, from an experience standpoint, the kickoff of the events will surprise people this year in a big way.
I love it.
Now I'm really intrigued. I'd love to.
I have to go.
All I can say is I put a lot more money into 2 surprises this year. So
okay.
Ooh,
I'm
I like
intrigued.
that.
I'm
I
intrigued.
like that little tease.
you like that? It's
Yeah.
true too. I'm not just making it up. Like, it's actually true.
That's awesome.
Cody, I had a question for you that okay. So Glenn always teases me because he thinks I'm thinking about him late at night, and maybe I am, but I was lying in bed last night thinking about this conversation, and I had a question that I
What's
thought
Cody going to be wearing in our
Cody
interview
gonna be
tomorrow?
wearing
I don't have a CA freaking polo on. I've got a nation deal, and I don't have socks on. Like, I'm slacking today in swag,
So I was curious to kind of get your perspective on something. You've been interviewed by a ton of people, right? Like, I've done several interviews with you. I know Justin's done interviews with you. I've seen you do interviews with Ali Salah. Like, you've done like collaborations with everybody. If you had to pick one person that was maybe your favorite person to have interview you, who would it be?
Ooh, that's good. I mean, just so that I don't tick off anybody in the insurance industry, I'd love for freaking Grant Cardone to interview me, right? Who wouldn't?
Right on.
I don't know if that's like that's a political answer. I don't
That's a
know if
very politically correct answer, but it's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? Yeah. I mean, you're great at interviews. I really enjoyed being on with Ali and Tony. That's a unique setting. I enjoyed that. I think it was like 7 a.m. or something.
I'm doing it on Thursday with them.
Nice.
And they're like, okay, they're like, we got to be on 7:45 Central Time, so that's 6:45 my time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are taking my gym time away from me and like everything. I'm like, that better be good.
It would have been 5:45 for Glenn, though.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I can't do that then. I don't sleep anymore as it is.
Vampire.
That's right.
I don't know. There's a lot of people doing some big stuff. I love how our industry is known for, like, Glenn and I can't help each other, or you and Glenn can help each other, or you and Justin both sell Medicare, so you guys, can't talk. Our industry's behind. It's old fashioned. It's known for that kind of thing. But dude, I think a lot of the young crowd is changing that to where you've got to network and collaborate and help others to get ahead, and it's okay, and that's what I've tried to do, is just try to bring the industry together and synergize and collaborate. Because even though I wasn't really like my mom told me the other day, or actually I was on the lake Sunday, and she like walked over on the pontoon boat to tell me that, like, she was surprised with the conference and the retreat and some of the things I'm doing. She's like, I'm super proud of you. She's like, but as a kid, you wanted to like hang out in your room or go out and play sports. Like, you weren't one to like go to events and socialize with people, or want to go to sleepovers at kids' houses and stuff. Like, that wasn't me. And so all of this has changed who I am as well. It's made me get out of my comfort zone, and it's a ton of freaking fun. Like the Power Player Networking Retreat we just did.
Yeah, there was some
Looked like a
FOMO.
blast.
Yeah, there was some fear of missing out there.
I was hoping there was some FOMO.
There was some FOMO, man. All those posts. Yeah, it looked like you guys were just having so much fun. But no, to speak to that point, Cody, I think it's abundance mindset, right? I mean, it takes me all of about 5 minutes of interacting with anyone in the industry, of figuring out, like, okay, is this person, do they have an abundance mindset? Are they willing to, share their information? I mean, I've been on both sides of it. I've, coming in, being a scarcity mindset, being scared that, okay, they're selling so many policies, there's no way that there would be even enough left over for me to sell, all the way to the other side of it, where now I would tell everyone my entire business because ideas are so cheap. It's totally a dime a dozen. And just because I give you step by step what I do in my business does not mean that you can execute on what I've built. And that goes for what probably everyone, everyone in the industry. So absolutely, man.
I think I heard Justin say one time, and it was really like, it left a big impression on me. He said, he's like, I could put out the blueprints. And I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly how he said it.
Yeah.
But he said it. He's like, I could put the blueprints out for everything that I do, and 90+% of people won't do it, even if they know what to do. They just won't do it. And I was like, that's powerful. That's true.
100%
Like,
agree with
because
that.
I was always wondering, I was like, why do you give so much away? And he's like, because most people aren't going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, that's really smart. And it's true.
Yep.
Dude, yeah. I mean, so many people are freaking lazy. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Like this industry is not really that hard. You sit down with enough people, you ask the people to buy whatever, you're going to win. But most people just never get to that point, And on that note too, like Glenn saw me trying to create a name for myself and a personal brand back in 2015, 2016, 2017. And dude, nobody took me seriously. Everybody laughed at me,
I get it.
Yeah, that's just how it was. But
Yeah.
In the industry, you have to persist. Like the virtual conference, we talked about, if you don't quit, you can't fail. If people don't quit and they just stay consistent, they will absolutely change their life in this industry.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And on that topic, my question for you, Cody, you're branding like 8% Nation, right? One of my favorite things is you've really focused on the failure rate of agents in the industry. And I was just talking to Christian actually last week about this. So many agents come into this industry and fail out. And I have had so many that I personally know, people that I've interacted with, lead heroes, I mean, it's just bodies, just dead bodies for days. Right. So, my question for you would be, what do you think is maybe the number one, or maybe a few of the main reasons why you see insurance agents fail out of this industry?
Yeah. I used to say, and it really is, that if you don't have enough activity and you don't prospect enough, you don't ask enough people to buy, you're going to fail, right? But I think that at the root of it, most people, it's human nature to not do stuff that you don't want to do. It is impossible to succeed in this career unless you force yourself to do stuff that you don't want to do. It's a mindset thing. Like the only reason I ran the half marathon a few weeks ago was because I had never freaking done it. And I'm trying to challenge myself and force myself to do stuff I don't want to do, right? My first year, 35% commission, cold calling, cold door knocking, made 117 grand, captive. Like, everybody knows the story. Do you think I wanted to go out and cold door knock 175 doors on a Saturday or cold call for 6 hours on a Sunday? Absolutely freaking not. But I had a goal and I wanted to succeed. And most people, like everybody's preaching nowadays. Somebody I follow, like a Gary V, he says that, don't do stuff you don't want to do, really. I'm a believer that in our industry, you have to do stuff that you don't want to do. And most people deep down, it's human nature to be lazy. It's human nature to not do stuff that you don't want to do. And I think that's why I start out my day with 5 things that I do every day, my daily power 5, because I want to do stuff early in the morning that I don't want to do, to force myself to, that when I don't feel like picking up the phone later in the day, I still pick it up.
What are those 5 really fast? I'd love to hear them.
Wake up before 6.
Okay.
Get a workout in. Write down my goals, which I have several goals. Spend some time training, learning, audiobook, book, YouTube video, something to enhance my brain, and finish every shower with a couple minutes of cold ice water.
Nice.
I love that.
I love cold showers.
Champions.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's too, because it wakes you up. It's good for you, but it wakes you up, and it's also something I don't like to do. So it puts me in the right frame of mind and forces me to do something I don't want to do to start my day. And it's miserable. And so I really, at this point, do it on purpose. And I notice myself in my energy level throughout my day if I don't do it.
Helps my sinuses a ton, dude. That's the main reason I do it. I hate it too, but if I have any congestion, that cold shower usually just clears me right out.
That's awesome. That's good.
Love it, man.
So I remember a couple of years ago, I couldn't even tell you when it was, but I remember Gary Vaynerchuk did a video with Grant Cardone, and they had that little conversation, right? About like,
Yes.
and Gary V's like, you just, if you don't like something, just don't do it. And Grant's like, that's a bunch of shit, dude. Like, you have to do things you don't want to do. He's like, you have to take out the trash. I don't like taking out the trash. Like, and that's always resonated with me. Like, I do things every single day that I don't want to do, but not everybody's willing to do those things, and that's what puts you ahead of the competition.
And I love him and his stuff, and he's got a lot of amazing stuff, but at the end of the day, I am with you. I totally disagree on that fact, on that philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I mean, he's great. He's got a lot of great things. I've read several of his books, but like that, I mean, some things he says, I'm just like,
I feel like you're wanting to show your ink. Is that where this is going, Christian? Are you wanting to show your
I've shown
tattoo?
my ink enough in this group.
All right.
People don't think it's real. People still don't think it's real.
I didn't think, dude. Wait, you showed it on the we were doing cocktails. It was the first time you showed it. And
I had to show it.
No. I'm like, he had to.
People won't leave me alone. People won't leave me alone. Like,
I didn't think it was real at first either. But.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I talked to Cody, like the first time I ever talked to Cody, like we were off record, right? Like we finished up the interview, and I was like, so you met Grant Cardone, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, I got some personal coaching with him, and I was like, I got a Grant Cardone tattoo on my arm, and you're like, really? You're hardcore.
Yes, which is amazing.
It's awesome.
And that's a testament to why you've been so successful. Specifically, is dude, you just dive the freak in. Like you don't care what anybody thinks. You do what you think is best, and you just do it. And I love it.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. I mean, one thing I can say is, ever since I've gotten to meet you, and more recently, getting to talk to people like you, like Landon, like Justin, like it's so crazy what it does to your mindset, right? Because you're like, you see what you guys are doing, and you guys are playing up here, and I might be playing down here. And it kind of forces you to stretch a little bit. I think that's kind of what you're talking about the events, right? With 8%, it gets you around people that are doing things that you might not have considered possible.
Well, early 2018, I went to Grant Cardone's office. He convinced me to spend 15 grand on 2 10X tickets, front row, back 2018, second event in Vegas. And I wasn't in near the financial position then as I am today, 2.5 years later or whatever. And so I did it anyway. And it's one of the best decisions I ever made for a few reasons. Number one, because it forced me to spend more money than I've ever spent in my life. And I think that's good. I'm not saying people need to get, into freaking, massive debt and everything else, but like it woke me up, number one. Number two, also, if I ever want to be a millionaire, 15 grand doesn't need to be a lot of money at some point, right? The second thing, I thought I was hot stuff. Like I'm naturally confident. I had probably used to have more of an ego than I have now. I try not to come across that way. And when you're a confident individual, you have your moments of, just human nature and it comes out. Well, at that event, we were doing well. And I was like, okay, I'm hot stuff. And I sit front row and people start sharing their stories. And I'm like, I am nothing. Like I am so freaking small. And it really got my attention. And so getting around big time people forces me to grow. There's always someone doing better than me. And it challenges me to grow my mindset to think a lot bigger.
Love that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I love that. I mean, I got a question for you, Cody. You're a man of multiple businesses, right? Secure Agent Lead, Secure Agent Marketing, Secure Agent Mentor, all these different businesses. Is there one in particular that you would say you're the most passionate about, maybe more than the others?
I think 8% Nation. I think you already answered that question, man. It's his baby.
The
maybe so.
Absolutely. Love the conference. I would say what I enjoy, if I had to pick, like, I love the marketing aspect. I love that Landon is on the freaking squad to be the marketing guy, because he knows way more about marketing than I ever dreamed of. And he's better at running a marketing company than me. What I enjoy the most is the sales training aspect. Before COVID, I was literally traveling multiple times a week to like offices to train teams and stuff or doing events. And that's like when I can jump on a Zoom, like I do this a couple times a week with a few companies that I do consulting with, and I'll jump on, there'll be like 80 people on a Zoom and I'm, responsible for training them for an hour. There's like nothing more fun than that for me. Like I freaking love it. And a lot of the sales training I do is to try to break things down, keep them simple. Some things I learned from others like Brian Tracy, who I give a lot of credit for, Grant Cardone, several others, and they worked for me. And I know that they can work for others. So that's what gets me probably most excited, honestly, is I'm deep down, I've learned a lot about insurance marketing and yeah, I've done well, but deep down, I'm a sales guy. I really am.
Makes sense.
There's not enough. And I think we talked about this with Bobby Beish last week, Medicare
Beish.
Bob. But yeah, there's never going to be enough insurance sales training, in my opinion, ever in the industry. So yeah, keep it going, man. I mean, like I said at the start of this, I know your YouTube channel, you've got thousands of videos already up there. So it's a huge need in the space.
It's been a nice snowball, buddy. I mean, you look back, I was telling Justin this other day at the retreat. I think I was telling everybody at the retreat, the first year of my YouTube channel, it took 6 months to get like some freaking views. It took a year to get like a couple hundred subscribers. It took a couple years to break 1,000. Like it was just, at some point when you're putting out content like that to educate people and no one is freaking watching, it's a little bit depressing, right? And so sure. It's nice to see it, snowball effect and it help more people and get some positive reviews and people watching. But just like insurance, the only reason it's there and that it gets so many compliments and so many views and a couple 100,000 views a month now is because I just didn't quit. Like I'm almost 5 years in and it's just because I didn't stop. It's not that it's any better than anybody else's videos. It's just that I stuck with it and
consistency.
Yeah. Just like you, man, like, with leads, just freaking absolutely fine tuning, optimizing and improving and sticking around. Like, dude, everybody thinks of you. You know what I mean? When they think of leads. So
yeah, well, yeah, it's all about saying. There's a buddy of mine. He's launching. This is not insurance related specifically, but he's launching a platform for It's like a paid networking platform, and like he's all about networking. And he's done. I've watched him create and fail like at so many ideas. So I think really just staying in the fight. Like I think about this all the time as an entrepreneur, as an agent, as a salesperson, like just staying in the fight, like keep going every day, even if it's just, a slaughter fest, even if you feel like you're losing. I think that's so important. And so, and consistency. And like you said, I think you're doing at least 2 videos a week on your YouTube channel, right? Isn't that kind of your minimum you shoot for?
Yeah, normally about 5.
Oh.
But there was a point we were doing 15.
Holy
cow. But there's
yeah, that is insane, man.
There's
That
a
makes
lot.
me feel like we're doing like nothing. Like we do like.
I think last week we only did 4. A couple weeks before that we did like 6. So I would say we average probably 5 a week now. I'm also a lot busier than I used to be, so we're having to recycle some content. I'm having to go shoot like 4 or 5 at once.
Right.
It's a little harder to be consistent with it now. Having a studio and a couple of video guys is a big help. But it's a beast, and it's something you can't ignore now for sure.
What's, a question I have for you, Cody. Do you guys primarily focus in the life insurance space? What's your main focus?
So that's my mostly life and Medicare. My personal success in insurance sales was life insurance, which I still believe is the hardest insurance product to sell and be good at. Now I've got to where my sales training is applicable for life, health, P&C. I'm coaching a couple P&C agencies on, calling leads, quoting, closing, upselling, getting referrals, even cross-selling into life insurance with their current book.
Nice.
And I'm learning a lot about that arena as well, which is a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's a huge missed opportunity. We were talking about that with Galen Roberts. So many agents don't cross-sell, or they're scared of cross-selling. And it's mind-boggling to me that not more agents are doing that across the board, for sure.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, and I'm one to have a niche, a focus, but there comes a point where eventually, as you grow and you learn more about other products and stuff, you start to leave some money on the table. It could be other people in your office who are helping with it. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to be the expert in every product, but you're absolutely right.
What, another question, Christian, do you have one?
No, go. I can wait.
Well, yeah, one other question. So, when it comes to the future of our industry, whether it's insurance as a whole or, final expense, life insurance, Medicare, I mean, what's something that you feel like you see coming that maybe some other agents are clueless about?
Ooh, that's good.
I like that.
Okay, well, for me, I'm going to think about an answer for agents. For me, I never knew that. So 1/5 of the leads that hit our HubSpot account. So we get about, I'll just say anywhere from 200 to 300 a week, inbound leads hit our HubSpot from some ads, from some YouTube, whatever, of agents looking for help with something. 1/5 of them are out of the country.
Wow.
Which surprised me when my team told me that.
Crazy.
I'm like, there's no way. You got to go back and look. There's no freaking chance that's true. And it is legit, which
So you're going global. Is that what I'm hearing? You're going to start ripping global?
Yeah. Well, that's something that I never envisioned doing. But I see me doing an event in freaking London or India, or like we already do marketing in, we've done marketing in New Zealand, London, Canada, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Mexico. We've done marketing in a lot of countries. Could I see the brand evolving and the conference evolving to where it's not just the US of A? Yeah, but did I ever think that was a reality or even possible? Not really, but that surprised me.
Interesting.
Surprised some other people.
That's crazy. Let's talk about Medicare for a second, Cody, because this is a Medicare group.
This is a Medicare group.
Medicare Agent.
I feel like we're cheating the audience if we don't talk about Medicare at least a little bit. So.
Yeah. Okay. Can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to know and we talked about it, the number one missed opportunity in the Medicare space. Still, even though a lot of people have been doing it, what did we talk about? And you and I, Christian, about a year and a half, whatever it was, when I was on your podcast.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
What did I say after?
You told me that I should be looking into YouTube ads. And and it took me a while, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, we're going to do that. And then I didn't do anything with it for a while. And then probably about 6 months ago, maybe less, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we started running some ads in it, and it's been up and down. Like our first campaign was ridiculously profitable. I think we just got lucky because I'm still figuring it out. But like, it's been a learning curve. But I think you told me a year ago that it was a blue ocean. I think it's just as much of a blue ocean today as it was when you said that a year ago.
Yes.
I believe that.
And you weren't putting your podcast on YouTube, which
I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Yeah. We were doing the podcast and we were doing it all audio. From what I recall, the first interview I ever did with you, we did over the phone because I didn't even know how to do on video yet. Which is like horrible. Like, when you think about it, like we did our first interview we did with Justin was over the phone.
Wow.
I was like,
dude,
so anyway,
it's good though, and it's grown, and you're getting some organic leads from it.
Yeah.
I really believe, like, if I wouldn't have started putting and David Duford, and it was an inspiration to do something like this, and he's a good buddy of mine now. I never.
He's the best.
Dude, yeah, he's such a good guy. He loves Glenn too. If I wouldn't have started December 29th, 2015. None of this would exist. We wouldn't be talking right now, and I just think about all the people out there that they're not going to take the advice, or some people will, but 3 months will go by and nobody will buy Medicare, and they'll be like, this is hogwash. Cody and Christian don't know what they're talking about, but if you don't continue doing it, you're right. We know nothing. But if you take it and run with it, you can get to where let's just be conservative, 3 years, you get inbound leads every day for free.
Yeah. Like, to piggyback on that, because I remember very vividly what you told me, because you're like, are you putting this podcast on YouTube? I was like, no. And you're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. And I was like, well, we don't shoot it on video. And you're like, who cares? Put up a background pic, throw up the audio. And I was like, okay. I'm like, should I do like 1 or 2 and every now and then? And you're like, how many episodes do you have? At that point, I think we had 80 or 90. And you were like, throw up every episode in a day or 2, like just throw it all up all at the same time. And we did. And I was like, it's going to be so much work. And you were like, you were like, just do it. Trust me. And like, I think our YouTube channel had like no subscribers, like 10, 20 subscribers.
Yeah.
Now we're about to hit 300 on that channel. 6-figure Medicare Agent's a lot more than that, but the channel's got like 30,000 views now. We get leads from it consistently. Like we had someone the other day, lives an hour away from us. They're coming on and they're retiring, getting on Medicare for the first time. They drove an hour down to see me at our office.
That's awesome.
And they told me that they said like the week before they came in, they're like, we were just binge watching your videos because we wanted to be ready. I was like, okay.
There you go, man.
Like, how cool is that?
It's amazing because like you never really think, like when they see you on YouTube, and you experience this, I'm sure, like as much as anybody in our space, but like they see you on YouTube, they see you so much on YouTube, they instantly identify you as an expert, what you're talking about.
It's the closest thing to cloning yourself. I mean, once I started to really get into more video marketing, and again, I probably do the least out of all 3 of us here, but having seeing, especially if you run ads, like it's crazy to see yourself pitching, and again, knowing that pitch is going over and over and over and over, and you don't have to be there doing it. It's so powerful. So yeah, I totally agree about the YouTube. I think it's another one that just launched too. I don't know if anyone's seen this. This is brand new, but Hulu actually is launching their own ad platform. So I think it's like as little as $500. You can go on Hulu and you can start. and that's the thing. I think the further we go down this road, the easier it's going to be, no matter what the medium is, to target exactly the person that you want. Whether it's radio, video, whatever it is, you're going to be able to get in front of your audience. You just got to figure out a message that works. Absolutely.
you'll probably be able to target based on like what they actually watch too, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of stuff about like running, biking, swimming, and like triathlons and that kind of stuff, because I'm going to be doing one in November. And I guarantee you right now, they could freaking sell me something. Somebody could,
For sure. Like I was looking the other day just out of curiosity because someone had mentioned to me that I should look into Pandora ads. I'm like, Pandora has ads? I was like, what? But I was like, I started looking at that, and then all of a sudden I started seeing ads for Spotify ads on Facebook. They were retargeting me or something. And so I've been looking at that recently. Like it's one of those things where it's like every single platform is going to have an ads platform at some point.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is.
I know a Medicare agency who exclusively markets on Twitter. That's the only way they generate leads. And when I heard, I didn't believe it. I'm like, Twitter? I was like, really, of all platforms, like that's where you landed. But again, they found a solution that works for them. So
you got to tell me who that is off air. I got to check that out. Like I got to see it with my own eyes.
It was kind of a friend of a friend situation, but yeah, wild to hear that. Yeah.
Okay. So Cody, Medicare specific question for you. So AEP is coming up. We're about a month and maybe a week away from the start of AEP. If you basically had to start as a Medicare agent today, and you had from now until October 15th to come up with a strategy, what would you do as a Medicare agent? Let's say you know everything you know about the products, you're knowledgeable, that kind of stuff. But let's say you have to write as many apps as possible this upcoming AEP. What would your strategy be to do that? Let's say you don't have any money.
Great question. I want to answer the same question too.
Yeah.
Do you have any clients? Like in this example, no clients.
Brand new. Yeah, brand new. You just got licensed.
Okay, so there's a few things I would do. Number one, I would create a letter that went out, and then a consistent newsletter, and I would add everyone I know to that. Okay, number one, which would help me create like a hit list, because I'm big on, if I have an idea, like when we have ideas for a retreat, I'm creating a hit list and then I'm going after those individuals. The second one is
You're murdering those people? I just want to be clear for our audience. Hit list?
Hit list, yes.
Yeah, I'm just
murdered them. I was like, wait, what did I say? But yeah, that was like, okay. And then I'm thinking about some of I wouldn't do the whole Walmart thing personally. Not a fan of that. I know
Likewise.
Same.
Not a big fan. I would end up if I can't like do events or have a book of business to work, then you've got to get some actual marketing going, some new leads. But then you've also got to throw in some age leads that have Medicare generated over the last 90 days that you can just pound in your area. And you're not calling about Medicare, you don't have to call about Medicare Advantage, right?
Right.
Turning 65,
right.
You can call about MedSup, whatever. You've got to create a lot of, especially new. I would want to freaking flood it with some activity, and get to where personally I'm booking about 20 appointments a week during AEP. And I think AEP is like 7 weeks,
Yeah.
I would set a goal to run like 140 appointments, and maybe 100 show up, maybe you write 70, but hey, that's you just got off to a fast start by doing that. But I think initially you got to have a goal or a target for what you want to accomplish, then come up with the strategies to accomplish it, and then go execute.
What about you, Glenn?
Well, like previously what was mentioned about the 3-year mark, especially in Medicare, I feel like the 3-year mark is when you can get to that point where it gets a lot easier. And I remember in a previous sales job, the guy had this, like the sales manager had like this graph, and it was like, after 3 years, especially with referrals, you start to get more passive business. But, with Medicare, you've got renewals. I think if you really are hustling, selling Medicare, even if it's just Medicare supplements, I think you can get to 6 figures in renewals in 3 years, or potentially even sooner than that. But if I was brand new and I just got licensed and I'm coming into this AAP, I would really focus on the foundation. Like, I think, again, a lot of people look at what other agents are doing and they get distracted and they're comparing themselves. And I think that's not what you want to do. If you're brand new, set the foundation, do it right. Even if you're not getting to, 100, 150, 200 clients and just this AAP, like many agents can do, and then just build on that, whatever it is. I mean, that's the beauty of Medicare, is you can start super slow, but as it all it's this continual momentum that just keeps pushing you forward further and further. So, but yeah, massive activity. Absolutely. Whatever marketing direction you end up going, the more people you can talk to, the more sales you're going to make, the more applications you'll submit, et cetera. And, having something in place, it doesn't have to be a sophisticated CRM. It could literally be a spreadsheet, you guys, but having something in place to help you track all of these people and following up with them after open enrollment, because you can talk to them about all sorts of other things. We've talked about ancillary products, cancer insurance, life insurance. I'm working with an agent right now who's selling a ton of home health care. And that's something that I think most agents, it's not even on their radar, is home health care insurance. I mean, there is just a slew.
Can't remember the last time I sold one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's just so much in our insurance space, even in just the senior insurance space, that I feel like gets overlooked. But yeah, I think tracking clients is big.
I got a question for Glenn.
Yeah.
I see your book behind you. Should a Medicare agent, 2 questions. Should a Medicare agent write a book? And what the freak should I do to write a book?
Absolutely. Well, so I'm a huge fan of, like, similar to what you've put out, Christian, with the Medicare space. So Medicare, like we talked about last week with Medicare Bob, it is a kind of a complex system and people need help understanding it. And as a Medicare agent, that's kind of what your job is, right? Is to take something that's complex, explaining it to them, helping them make an informed decision. So if an agent is doing a book, I say yes. I'm a huge fan of creating a book. It doesn't have to be huge. I think you could keep it 25 to 70 pages and something kind of concise. And again, similar to what, we talked about, Christian, with your podcast, it makes you look like an expert. People can kind of binge it and then come to you, and it's huge. Cody, absolutely. If anyone should have a book, you should have a book.
Yeah, you should write a book.
Especially when it comes to networking. And I've actually looked at updating this guy back here because it's almost 4 years old now. And I think, yeah.
So I've written 2 books about Medicare, and we still get people to this day that will find it on Amazon and call us. And it's totally outdated. Like the Part B numbers are all wrong and everything like that. But we'll still get people that will buy it on Amazon. We'll make like $1 or $2 royalty off it or something like that. And when we first put the book out, it sold like over 1,000 copies, like in the first year and a half or so. But it's brought a good amount of business in. It's about that branding.
Dang,
it is,
dude. Writing a book. I guess I want to talk about doing stuff you don't want to do. I'd rather go run a full marathon right now than sit down and write a book.
But so again,
I'd rather jump in front of a train than write another book.
Well, and I totally agree with that. And you're actually writing another book, aren't you, Christian? I thought
I'm done with it. It's being proofread right now.
Whoa, that is awesome, man! Congrats. I didn't want to proofread it.
It's not 100% ready, but we're trying to get it out by AEP. That's the goal before AEP.
I'm looking forward to it. This book, though, so I asked a ton of agents to help me with this because I didn't want to do it by myself. And Cody, if anyone would have, the platform to do it, but man, you could have a book that runs circles around that book back there. Just getting agents to, again, it's all, I'm a huge fan of collaborating and networking and sharing ideas. And I know, you've already mentioned all of those things.
Yeah. It scares me to death. So I got to do it.
You got to, man.
So first book,
Grant Cardone would tell you, yes, you have to write a book.
So what does he always say about books? It's not about being the best written. It's the best seller, not a best written.
Yeah. My the B word to the end of that, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first book I wrote had so many mistakes and so many problems with it. Like it was just an atrocious thing, but it was around 900 sales at that point. And then I hired somebody here at the office, and they were a proofreader for they were an editor for an author before they worked for me. So she went through and cleaned up all my books, and now they just look so much better. But like, there's still 900 copies of that first book floating around out there, and they're like so many mistakes and so many problems. But it didn't stop people, and we didn't really get too much pushback on it. Like we didn't get too much blowback on it. I have a big theory. I think 90% of people that buy a book don't even open it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Do you know how many books I bought that I've never opened? There are so many books.
Yeah.
I bought a book about the 1918 pandemic at the start of this pandemic because I really wanted to read about the Spanish flu, and I've read maybe one page of that book.
Oh man, dude, it's here's a little idea.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of agents in this group that are local. They have a local office, right? Or they're a local Medicare agent, or they typically only do business local, right? Which is good. That's fine. If more people focused on local branding in their marketplace, it don't mean you have to have a billboard, right? But if more people focused on locally branding in their market, I mean, even digitally.
Agreed.
I can jump on and throw a Facebook ad up for $1 a day and
Right.
target everyone in Springfield at some point.
Right.
Like we're promoting the live stream right now for 8%. And I think for like less than $100 a day, like tens of thousands of people have seen it, So I think if people would think outside the box, don't mean you need a ton of money, but if they thought outside the box is like, how do I brand myself locally, right? There's a guy in town, his name's Aaron Sachs. His phone number is 777-7777. He's got flipping 100 billboards. He's everywhere. He drives me nuts. And I'm like, dude, if more insurance people thought like that, dude, and when you thought about it, like when people think about insurance in your local market, who do they think about? Who do they think about? And why not you?
Love that.
Well, on the SEO, I can definitely speak to the SEO side. It's
Dude,
100 times. Yeah, I mean,
built it.
I appreciate that, man. There's people who've already leapfrogged me over the past couple of years, but if you're from a search engine optimization standpoint, if you're trying to be found, it is 10 times easier to rank locally than it is to rank nationally. And again, it's all about scale and money being spent. I just saw, I don't know if it was an agent posted in your group, Christian, or a different group, but there was an agent that just started putting some stuff out in the past few months, and he's already starting to get some local SEO, and like he's being found on Google Maps. Like you search Google Maps, like Medicare agency, and he pops like right up at the top there. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's a good tip, man.
It's
For
been
sure.
for years. If
I
you
love
search
that.
final expense leads, Medicare leads, like Lead Heroes is going to pop up in the first couple like organic, listings, like always, And so I've always been jealous. I'm like, dude, this freaking Glenn guy, he's everywhere.
Well, I need to get you on the website, man. That's the
Dude,
key.
I'm in. But you know what? That's good too. That's a good piece of advice. I don't know if they picked up on that. That little nugget you just dropped. But I saw that and I'm like, well, let me go do the YouTube space. Who owns YouTube? Google, and they have videos that pop up now. So
Oh yeah.
it's if you don't know SEO, it ain't that hard. But you can also throw up some videos, which also shows up on the first page of Google too now. So.
Yep. More and more is going towards video. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think in terms of like local branding, I mean, every Medicare agent I know is their ultimate goal is to basically build a Justin Brock local presence, right? Like with the billboards, with this, with that, and it's like, they're just crushing it with it. I mean, it's just insane.
They're probably spending like $50,000 a month locally. I mean, think about that. Like, who has the freaking guts to do that? And yeah, they got a big block of business and millions in renewals and whatever else, so it helps. But like, they started somewhere, and you're right. Now they are freaking Justin's like what, 32? Who in their local market sells Medicare is going to catch them?
Nobody. It's over.
Good luck. Yeah.
Next 30, 40 years.
I think he's got the whole state. I think Mississippi's.
Yeah.
locked up.
Yeah. If he's thinking about Tupelo now, he's thinking too small because he's.
Yeah.
I love Justin though. He's a good dude. I'm good buddies with him too.
He's the best. I don't know if there's anybody that's helped me more. in taking my business to the next level than him. So right there with you. Justin's the man.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Well, Cody, we're getting right up to close to the hour mark here. So I know you're busy. We don't want to take up too much of your evening. Thank you so much for doing this. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish we could all be at the conference here at the end of the month. I hope it goes well.
I do too. Okay, so now this is live. We're on video.
Yep.
We're in your Facebook group, and I count on both of you to attend next year.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
As long as it's not during AEP next year, I'll be there.
Assuming the world doesn't end by the 2021, yes, I'm there, man.
No guarantees anymore.
Yeah.
Well, guys, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Glenn, thanks as always.
Yeah,
Glenn,
no problem.
I mean, all the interviews I do without Glenn on here are super boring. So I'm always like, sigh of relief when he's here. And Cody, thanks again. Thanks for taking time. I know you're super busy. I know you got a lot going on this month, and we just appreciate your time. We don't take it for granted.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you guys very much. Big fan of both of these dudes. Keep following them. Keep staying engaged in the group. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
Happy Taco Tuesday. Till next week.
Till next week. Eric Fierro next week, by the way.
Boom.